welcome to day 4 of our Navigating Everyday Transactions challenge on at English Vibes Hub S6W. I'm Emma, and I'm excited to help you improve your English skills, especially when it comes to negotiating prices and services. Today, we're going to explore some really useful phrases that will help you get the best deals. Are you ready to become a negotiation master?
That's right, Emma. Negotiating is a crucial skill in many everyday situations, from buying something at a market to agreeing on a service contract. And the key to successful negotiation is using the right language. So, let's dive in and learn some of these essential phrases. I'm curious, Emma, what are some common phrases people use when negotiating?
Well, Liam, one of the most common phrases is "how much does it cost?" or "what's the price?" But when you want to negotiate, you might say something like, "Can you give me a discount?" Or "Is there any room for negotiation?" Let's practice these phrases, and then we can move on to more advanced ones. Can you repeat after me? Can you give me a discount?
Can you give me a discount? That sounds pretty straightforward. But what if the seller says no? What are some other phrases we can use to negotiate further?
If the seller says no, you could say, "I'm willing to pay X amount," and see if they're flexible. Another useful phrase is "I've seen it cheaper elsewhere," which can sometimes prompt the seller to reconsider their price. Let's role-play a scenario where I'm the seller and you're the buyer. Remember to use the phrases we've just learned.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, so I'll start by asking, how much does this item cost? And then we can go from there. Oh, and by the way, what's the item we're negotiating over in this role play?
Let's say it's a vintage watch. I'll tell you the price, and then you can start negotiating. The price is $200. Your turn, Liam.
That seems a bit steep for a vintage watch. Can you give me a discount? Maybe we can meet in the middle.
I can offer you a 10% discount, but that's as low as I can go. So, the price would be $180. What do you think?
That's still a bit out of my budget. I've seen similar watches for $150 elsewhere. Would you be willing to match that price?
I can see why you'd want to pay $150, but I have to make a profit. Tell you what, I can do $165, and that's my final offer. What do you say, Liam?
That's a good compromise. Okay, deal. I'll take it for $165. Thanks for the negotiation, Emma. That was really helpful.
You're welcome, Liam. I'm glad we could practice negotiating together. Now, it's your turn to practice with a friend or family member. For today's challenge, we want you to negotiate the price of an item at a market. It could be anything from a piece of fruit to a souvenir. Remember to use the phrases we've learned today, like "Can you give me a discount?" and "I've seen it cheaper elsewhere."
And don't forget to pronounce the phrases correctly. For "can you give me a discount?" make sure to stress the "can" and the "you" slightly for a more natural flow. Let's listen to how Emma says it. Can you give me a discount?
Exactly, Liam. Pronunciation is key when negotiating. It can make you sound more confident and fluent. Now, let's summarize the phrases we've covered today. How much does it cost? Can you give me a discount? Is there any room for negotiation? And I've seen it cheaper elsewhere. Repeat these phrases out loud and then try to use them in your own negotiation scenario.
I think our listeners are well equipped with the phrases they need to negotiate effectively. For tomorrow's challenge, we're going to focus on something really interesting. We'll be looking at how to discuss and agree on service details, like scheduling appointments or booking services. It's going to be really practical and useful for everyday transactions.
That's right, Liam. Mastering these skills will make a big difference in your ability to navigate everyday transactions confidently. So, get ready for another exciting day of learning and practicing English. Let's keep the conversation going and see how our listeners do with today's negotiation challenge before we dive into tomorrow's service-focused challenge.